This is Chad Nesbitt with Skyline News, and I tell you what, if you have got a tire that is messed up, or if you've got one that is blown, or if you need new tires altogether, I want you to go to Weaverville Tire. It's right out there off of, gosh, I forgot the name of that road, but we'll find it here in a minute. It's Shad Higgins' place. Shad Higgins ran for sheriff here in Buncombe County. You might remember the night that some people set his place on fire. Well, he has got a brand new place now. He's got it all fixed up. He's even having a Bible study out there with about 50 guys. It's a fantastic place. Shad Higgins is a fantastic guy. And if you need a great deal on a set of tires, that's the place to go. Weaverville Tire and Wheel and Tire. Weaverville Wheel and Tire. It's fantastic. And if you go to Skyline News online, you'll see it. It'll run across the top of at the very top of our website. Just click on it. It'll take you straight there to his website. You can get it whatever you need, and the place is clean. That's what I like about Shad's place out there at Weaverville Tire. It's clean. Everybody's professional. They're fast, so you're not sitting around all day waiting for somebody to change your tires and get them balanced. You're in, you're out, and it's nothing to it. So check them out, Weaverville Tire. I'll get the exact address here in just a minute, but if you go to SkylineNewsOnline.com, you'll see it come across the top. Just click on it, and that is the place to get some tires if you need to. Now, I want to introduce somebody that's real important to us. Her name is Michelle Woodhouse. Michelle, you there?
I am, Chad. Hello.
Oh, hello there. It's good to hear from you. She is running for chairman of the 11th district, the Republican 11th district right here in Western North Carolina. And I can't get enough. Nancy and I love you. We can't get enough of you because of your energy that you have, Michelle, and you have just an aura about you that just people flock around you, and that's what this party needs here in the Republican Party. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, that is so nice. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you and Nancy through Madison's campaign, and just so blessed to have you as friends. So I want a little bit about me. I do have Western North Carolina roots. My mom is a Macon County native, born and raised in Franklin, and my parents retired there about 30 years ago. So I spent every summer as a kid in my grandparents' double wide, and anyone in Western North Carolina who's spent a summer in double wide knows it is hot in one of those, right? And those were great summers that I spent there, and then I moved full-time back to Western North Carolina about 3 years ago, live over in Hendersonville, and I have my own consulting firm. I work with physicians and medical spas throughout the country, helping them run their businesses. So I'm kind of a fixer, I guess, is what I do for a living. And
well, that's what the Republican Party needs around here, is a fixer. I can tell you that. It needs to be fixed.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, there's a big division in the party. You've got this wine and cheese crowd that's out here, and then you have Trump supporters. And sometimes the wine and cheese crowd will say that they support Trump and they're all about Trump and everything else, especially when Trump was president. But you got these Mitch McConnell type guys out here that are just wanting to throw Trump and Trump supporters under the bus. What are you going? If you're elected, what can you do about that to pull these people together, or should those wine and cheese crowd just get out of the way?
Well, I think it's such a great question, and when we look at our party right now, we have multiple factions, even beyond just those two, and we don't have the luxury of division. If we don't coalesce and get together, the liberals are going to win into perpetuity. We both know that. We cannot divide it, we will fall. We just cannot. The groups are going to have to come together and stay focused on what we have in common, and that is the conservative platform. And we have seen the deep state and the swamp. We've seen their true colors. We saw it for 4 years when Trump was in office.
Yeah.
We're surely seeing it now. And I'm a firm believer that if you run with an R next to your name and then you abandon the platform, you're no longer a conservative or a Republican. And we've got to, as the voters, build from the ground up and stand up and say, this is not okay. Right. This is the conservative platform. This is what you ran on. We will hold you accountable, to stay true to the platform. And I was talking to my mother today, and I could count on about five fingers, one hand, who the conservatives are that are really fighting for us in Washington, D.C. And thank goodness we have our congressman here doing it. Yeah. But he's a lone voice up there. And one of the main reasons I'm running is because I believe the only way we fix it is from the ground up. You and Nancy are grassroots. I'm grassroots. We're workers. I do love some wine. I don't eat cheese, but we're workers, right? We're workers, and we're schlepping signs and making phone calls and knocking on doors and pouring into this because we love our country. And no one's paying us. We're doing it because we love our country. You do this show because you love your community and you love your country and you love your freedoms. And if we don't stand up for it, who will?
Well, I'm glad you said that about holding Republicans accountable, because I'm not seeing any Republicans really stand up for us except Madison Cawthorn, Mark Robinson, and that's it. I'm not seeing any others out here. And especially when you got Josh Stein and Goopy Cooper is wanting to criticize any Trump supporter in North Carolina, calling us terrorists. You had Bank of America today. It flew all over me. Nancy hollered at me today, and she said, "Get up here and look at this. Get up here and look at this." So I go running upstairs, and they had Tucker Carlson was talking about Bank of America, and they have proof of this. Bank of America turned in everybody that was in Washington, D.C. In other words, if you swiped your credit card on January the 6th, if you were in Washington, D.C. when the Capitol so-called riot thing went on, if you swiped your card and you were a Bank of America person, you were in Washington, D.C., they automatically, without a warrant or anything, they just gave all that information over to the FBI. And that's what kind of country are we living in nowadays? I mean, they're blocking us from freedom of speech. They're coming after us because of our political preference. And now we got our banking institutions are turning us in because we just happen to be at a Trump rally. But yet nobody in the Republican Party is taking up for us except Mark Robinson and Madison Cawthorn. And when you get in there, and you're going to have a lot of work. And I know that you are the type of person that gets out there in the press. You got no reserves whatsoever. I've seen you in action, and you're just fantastic. And that's why I wanted to have you on here.
Well, thank you. And we have watched our freedoms being stripped away. We really have. That Bank of America story just blew all over me as well. But I do still have such hope because of people like you, like Nancy. Tomorrow night I'm heading over to Murphy, a great woman there, Shannon Greathead, who I've only met on Facebook, but just an incredible patriot. Yeah. She put out that I was coming into town, and 35 people are coming to have dinner tomorrow night to talk, because people want to know that there's hope. They want to hear, what do I do? How do I get involved? What are the things I can do? President Trump fought for me and my family for 4 years, and that man went through it. He went through it. Yeah. You've been through it. I mean, what you and Nancy have been through, your attack, the people are saying, what do I do? What can I do to serve? How do I stand up and serve? And my message in running is, it's time. You got to step into it. You got to step into it. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe it's a little outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you're not someone who ever gets involved. But it's the time to get involved, because if we don't do it, who will? And Stacey Abrams is here in Western North Carolina. Her and her cohorts, they're here.
Let me stop you right there. Tell everybody, because there's a lot of Republicans that just go about their daily lives, okay? And they watch this. They watch this out here, and they don't know who Stacey Abrams is. And just because somebody doesn't know who Stacey Abrams is doesn't mean they don't know anything about politics. It's just another name. Tell everybody who Stacey Abrams is, and that everybody can understand, and then relate it back why she's here in Asheville.
Absolutely. So Stacey Abrams is a radical liberal out of Georgia.
She's crazy.
She's crazy. Yeah. She was the Democrat that ran against Kemp, who we know he has proven his rhino colors, but she ran against Kemp. She lost. She still has never accepted that defeat, but she made it her personal mission to turn Georgia blue. She has a 16-page document. It's called the Stacey Abrams Playbook. You can print it off of her website, which I did. North Carolina is mentioned in there 6 times.
Wow.
6 times. Just really boil it down, Chad, what her mission is, what she did in Georgia, her mission there was register at least 1 million unregistered voters, get them to vote Democrat top to bottom, and preferably have them do it by mail-in ballot. That was her strategy. Wasn't really complicated. She looked at the voter data, and she went to Fulton and Cobb and Gwinnett, urban communities where you had lower voter registration, and she deployed volunteers to knock on doors and to go into the community. And she got people who were unregistered to vote. She got them to vote Democrat. And what happened in Georgia? Georgia turned blue. We lost those Senate seats.
Had a lot of voter fraud.
A lot of absolutely.
Tons.
From top to bottom.
Yeah.
And we know if the fraud's happening at the top, where they're stealing the election from President Trump, they're stealing the senatorial races, they're going to start working from the bottom up, because we both know, and I think it's important for listeners to know, all politics are local.
And tell our tell our audience here, tell them who Stacey Abrams' sister is and what she had in conjunction with this voter fraud that happened in Georgia.
Well, yeah, she's the judge that upheld the Secretary of State and Kemp's ruling that everything was fine.
Right.
She wouldn't allow for the recount.
Yeah.
No.
That's right. She wouldn't allow for anything up there as far as voter fraud. Anything that the attorneys brought forward, she wouldn't allow it in court. And this is Stacey Abrams' sister.
Yep. And when you look at what made her playbook so just alarming to me was the fact that North Carolina was mentioned in there 6 times.
Yeah.
My parents are 15 miles from the Georgia border. 15 miles. And they're coming here, and they're coming here for very specific reasons. When we look at the voter demographics, Buncombe County represents almost 50% of the registered voters in western North Carolina, in the 11th Congressional District, in Madison's district. If Stacey Abrams and her group are able to go into Buncombe County, go into those apartment complexes where you have multiple people living, go into, start voter registration efforts with the homeless, wherever they may go in Buncombe County, and they've got a ripe pool to pick from, they go in there and they get 15,000 new registered voters, 20,000 new registered voters. It doesn't take a lot. It will skew our congressional district blue.
Yeah.
Because communities like Graham County, Clay County, Macon County, they just don't have enough people to offset what she would be able to execute. And key Democrats were in that News and Observer article on the front page saying, we've got our playbook. We're going to do better than Georgia because we're going to start early. We're going to be more aggressive. And we've got a governor who invited them in. We've got an attorney general that invited them in. And here in the 11th Congressional District, right here at home, the Democrat chairwoman of NC11, so the job that I'm looking for, the unpaid job, I'm looking for on the other side of the aisle, that woman is the one who wrote the letter to Nancy Pelosi calling for the removal of our congressman of Madison.
Gosh.
So they have rolled out the red carpet for her. They're welcoming her in, and they're all living and working by this playbook. So we have to fight this. And
there's actually 2 playbooks here. I'm not to interrupt you, but there's 2 playbooks. There's that one you just talked about, and then there's this Communist Manifesto, which is the basis of what's going on. And I say that with 100% a surety here and confidence, because we've got a guy out in Henderson County, which would be in your district, that's Antifa full blown, and he's running for Hendersonville City Council. You've got other people out, and this is their plan, to attack the small towns, because they know nobody wants to get involved out in the election process. Literally, not, when you go vote, you go and you say, hey, my name's Chad Nesbitt, and I'm here to vote, and they look you up on a computer. Well, that person that's there on that computer, we need Republicans out there. That's what we need. More and more people that are like-minded like the rest of us. And most of us are working. We work a job, so we don't have time for that. But we got to make time, and you got to make time for that one special day or those 2 weeks of early voting. And we got to get out there and do it, because this Antifa crowd is trying to take over those smaller cities: Silva, Waynesville, Canton. They've already done it here in Asheville. We've got Kim Roney on there, who's been supported by the Sunrise Movement and the Antifa crowd and all that. You've got several others up there. So we just got to, what do you say to that?
Well, they're coming for our small communities, and what we have to do is we have to get Republicans engaged. This is not the time for people to throw up their arms and say, I'm done with the party, I'm out. This isn't the time for people to Monday morning quarterback. It's the time for people to step up and step in and say, I never thought about running for city council, but you know what? I'm not going to let somebody from Antifa be on my city council. I'm going to run. I'll figure it out. When I decided to enter this race, I spent time praying about it, a lot of time, and fasting, because like you, I'm going to have my own business. I'm busy. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I've got things, my schedule is full.
Yeah.
But it was too important. We have to be looking forward. We keep showing up, Republicans do, with a knife to a gunfight. And we wonder why we lose.
That's right. And we do. Yeah.
We do. And we've got to start at the municipal level. We've got to get conservatives running for the school board. We've got to get conservatives running for city council. We've got to get them on all the boards, even the volunteer boards, the zoning boards, all of those things in their community, and the county commissioners. And we've got to start locally just getting good, solid conservatives to run for office. And then we've got to get them elected, and then we've got to get them reelected. Yeah. We've got to protect Madison. That congressional seat is top #1 priority.
Absolutely.
And then we've got to work with every one of the counties. Our district here is bigger than 4 states. It's 6,600 square miles. It's bigger than 4 states, and I've been driving it every day. I work and I drive, and I work and I drive, and you know this, but we've got to get out into our communities and get people to say, count me in.
Yeah.
Count me in. What do I need to do? And for me, it's important for people to know you have a seat at the table. You have a voice in this party. Your voice is important to me. I've spent so much time since I announced my candidacy talking to people who, I don't know them. We've become friends on Facebook, or they have found my announcement and they're reaching out to me. I spent almost an hour and a half on the phone with a young man from Black Mountain yesterday, and he was like, I'm done. And by the time we got done, he's coming with me to the Buncombe County GOP meeting on the 22nd.
Right.
So we got to do it one person at a time. It's just like when you bring people to Christ. You don't beat them over the head with your King James Bible. You just talk to them.
Right.
You just talk to them.
Well,
and you let them know we are like-minded. There are other people who are patriots who want to fight for the First Amendment and the Second Amendment and national security. And you have a place in this party, and we are the party. It isn't Mitch McConnell's party. It isn't Mitt Romney's party. It isn't Jeff Flake's party. This is my party. This is your party.
Right. Well, for 4 years, I just dropped the camera, by the way, so if you hear me snickering in the background, that's why. But for 4 years...
ice cream.
No, or a cookie from Bonnie and Clyde's. That's what I need. I need my cookie. Don't tell Nancy, though. She'll get mad if I eat her cookies. But, you know, for 4 years, we've had nothing but success. I mean, like Trump said when he was running for office in 2016, you're going to be tired of the winning. And God, we really won 24/7. The guy was fantastic. He didn't complain about it. He didn't chomp about anything or complain about anything. He just made stuff happen, and it was fantastic. And now, I mean, we got Biden up here. He has yanked the pipeline. He's letting in all the illegals back in the United States. He could care less about the COVID. And now the COVID thing, if you notice since Biden here, all this COVID stuff's just disappearing. And we predicted that if that had happened, if Biden won, that would happen. But I think people that I'm talking to and that I'm hearing, and I hear it from you too, we're tired of complaining about things, and we want to do what Trump does, and we win, and we actually make things happen for the constituents that voted for our people that we work so hard for, like Trump, like Madison, like Mark Robinson, and but we got to get, like you said, we got to get some more blood out here running for office. I'm ready to primary some of these Republicans. I mean, some of these people got to go. And in my opinion, Chuck Edwards is one of them. That guy's got to go. We need to put another Republican in there to run against him. Here in Buncombe County, we've got districts here, and which, thank God, because that's the only way we can get a Republican elected. If we were countywide, you can forget it. But and I think our sheriff's race, believe it or not, is a countywide race. But there are a ton of people that are just fed up with the way the sheriff's department is being run, and I can tell you it's pretty bad what's going on in the sheriff's department right now. So, I mean, they're making porn videos, or at least one person is, and possibly more from what I'm hearing today after we ran this one particular story. And we still haven't had a word from their public information officer, and that's disturbing that the public information officer at the sheriff's department is the way he is. His name's Aaron Sarver, and hopefully Aaron Sarver will get back to us. I mean, it's not just Skyline he's not talking to. There are other reporters at WLOS and elsewhere that have just pretty much had enough of that. And I remember when Natalie was over there, she was a public information officer under the Van Duncan administration and was absolutely fantastic. I mean, there could be 20 cop cars going down Lester Highway, and then you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning seeing these cop cars. You could call Natalie up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she'd say, "Give me 5 minutes, I'll find out what's going on." She'd call you back, and that's it. But now you can't. So I guess that's a Democrat-run administration for you, and that's what's happening over there. And even Van Duncan himself here in Buncombe County, he had enough of his own party, like I did, like Nancy and I did. We were both Democrats, and we both had enough of our own party. So did Van Duncan. He's out. A lot of people have left that party, and they've gone independent or they've gone Republican like Nancy and I did. And the Republican Party's the way to go. I mean, that's the fighters right there. But
absolutely.
Yeah, so we've got to make sure we get you in there as 11th Congressional District. Now, I want you to tell everybody two things. Tell everybody what your job would be when you were chairman of the 11th Congressional District, and then tell everybody one more time why is it imperative, absolutely imperative, that if they are a registered Republican, that they go to their county convention. Tell everybody what you do first, what you do when you're chairman.
Absolutely. So the chairman is a volunteer job, and the priorities, according to the job description, and then I'll tell you what my priorities are in addition to that. The priority number one, protect Madison. Keep that congressional seat. Number one.
Okay.
Number two is to collaborate and work closely with all 17 counties to help make sure that they've got what they need to recruit, elect, and re-elect conservatives.
Right.
Make sure that they've got the tools that they need to get the message out, to support the platform, and also make sure they're staying true to the platform.
Right.
And then for me, some other key things that we will be doing, we're going to be launching a communication infrastructure so conservatives can find what's happening in their communities with websites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, snail mail. I'm going to be doing a monthly newsletter, and hopefully having the opportunity to be on your show with regularity and some other broadcast opportunity so that we can get the message out to people who are yet involved on how to get involved.
Yeah.
And we're also going to put together some really important committees that look at voter integrity and election integrity, grassroots and volunteer growth, and then our own Casey Lancaster Watson, who's here in Henderson County, is going to be chairing a committee for us on intergenerational communication, because we've got the youngest member of Congress in Madison, the youngest member of the House in Jake Johnson, so their contemporaries are on, Instagram and Twitter and maybe doing some different things, and then we've got conservatives like my parents who are in their late 70s, early 80s, and they like getting something in the mail, right? And they might like an email. So our average age in the district right now is 61. So we've got these young, great, vibrant conservative leaders, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But our population skews older, so we've got to find ways to communicate and meet people where they are to pull them in. So to me, those are really all the parts of the job, and probably much, much more. And the way to get involved, the most important way to have your voice heard, is you've got to be able to vote as a delegate. The way the process works is you go to your precinct and county conventions, and those are all happening in the month of March.
Right.
That's first.
Next month.
Buncombe County's March 6th. Henderson County's the 27th. We've got all these up. You can, the listeners can visit my website, which is nc11chair.com. We've got them up on there. They can also go to the ncgop.org website and see where their county conventions are. And that's the first place. You've got to go there as a registered Republican, get seated as a delegate within your precinct in your district. The conventions are just going to last a couple hours. Some are virtual, some are in person. And then April 10th, you will get to cast your vote for the leadership of this district.
Okay.
And we'll have all new leadership coming in. Yeah. April 10th, it's completely virtual. And that also allows you, once you're seated at your precinct, your county, and the district, to go to the state convention, which is the first weekend in June, and you're a voting delegate there to vote for the chairman's race and the vice chair race and the platform and the plan of organization. All these things are so important.
Very important.
To have a voice.
And it's a difference between if you don't show up to these things and get. I mean, you don't have to be totally active, but you got to be there to raise your hand and vote. And if you're not there, then then this is what you get. I've seen this every year. You're either going to get a fighter like you, okay, that you get a fighter like you, or you're going to get somebody that just likes to pick up the crumbs of the Democrats. And that's not what we want. You don't want a fence sitter. You want somebody that's going to make a decision, and somebody's going to do the right thing, and that stays with that Constitution that we have and backs it. So that's what I'm getting at. That's the kind of people we've got to get in there. Now, real quick, I know I was just going. We don't have too much time here, but just real quick. The Senate race, the U.S. Senate race, Richard Burr, thank God, is leaving, okay? He's leaving under controversy. The guy is gone, okay? So you've got Pat McCrory, who used to be our governor here in North Carolina, that's going to run. But we had heard rumblings that Laura Trump, the daughter-in-law of President Trump, was going to run for U.S. Senate here in North Carolina. She's a North Carolina native. But Pat McCrory, in my opinion, I don't know about yours, but Pat McCrory, he's a nice guy. But we don't need nice people right now. I mean, let me back up. It's great to be a nice person, but you're going to have a little bit of fortitude about you to be able to take on that evil that you see every day on the news that is in Washington, D.C. People that are real nice and just want to get along and pick up the crumbs of the Democrats and sit on the fence are not going to cut it. That's going to lose for us Republicans. We need fighters up there. Who do you recommend besides, or do you like Pat McCrory?
I'd love to see Laura Trump running for that seat.
Me too.
I would love it, and I'll tell you why. I like Pat McCrory a lot. We've got Mark Walker in there, who's a great man. I really do like both of them. And as long as we get a true conservative, I'm all in. You'll be all in. But I do believe this. Right now, we know the group that we struggle with as a party is white, conservative, college-educated, suburban women. We struggle to get them active in the party. And if we have the opportunity to put forth as our Senate candidate a conservative, suburban, white woman who's college-educated, who P.S. her last name happens to be Trump, who is also a North Carolina native, a Wolfpack grad, I'm all in for Laura Trump to put her name into that race. I think it would be great. The Democrats are going to come guns a-blazing.
Yes, they are.
No matter, they will spend so much money, and they're not going to run someone like Cal Cunningham. They're going to run someone that will have an unlimited amount of money.
Yeah.
That will, they will be so aggressive. You know, I think Mark Robinson threw a big wrench into their plan.
Yes,
because
he did.
Roy Cooper was going to run. Roy Cooper was already, probably carving out a little placard for himself.
Yeah.
He was going to run. And then here comes, thank you, Lord, Mark Robinson.
Yes.
The conservative voice that we have down in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Thank goodness that we have that man there. But that threw a wrench into their plans, and but I think it'll be a heated primary. I think we'll see, a lot of Republicans start to throw their hat into the ring on that. I think many have been sitting, waiting to see if Laura Trump actually does run. I would be
if she
delighted.
If she doesn't, yeah, I would be delighted as well. But if she doesn't. And I know that Mark Robinson just got in there as lieutenant governor, but he would be phenomenal as a U.S. senator. And his wife is phenomenal. His entire family are fantastic people. I just think, can you imagine Mark Robinson on the Senate floor of the United States House? He would drive them crazy. I mean, you talk about a fighter and such an eloquent speaker and with that booming voice, and it just captures everybody's attention. He's for the police and everything. He's just all-American, fantastic person, and he's a fighter just like you are. And I tell you, if he would run for, I know he just won lieutenant governor, but if he won for state house, for U.S. Senate, he would win hands down in this state, I believe. Now, who would we put back in his place? I have no idea who we would put in there, but I think it would be great.
Well, I think, I don't know what the North Carolina Constitution calls for, but I think he would get replaced with another Republican. And I'm with you. Mark Robinson's the real deal. I heard him recite the entire Gettysburg Address from heart. The man is, every time he speaks, he doesn't need a pulpit, he doesn't need a podium. Every time he speaks, it is a tent revival on conservatism.
It really is.
Every time.
Yeah.
And he, his passion and his fight, much like Madison, is just straight from a heart of a true conservative, a true patriot who loves their country, who wants to protect the freedoms of their country.
Yeah.
And, there are more of us. I can just keep reminding myself as I wake up each morning wondering how many executive orders Sleepy Joe signed while I was in bed. There are more of us. There are more patriots. There are more believers in the American dream. There are more America First Americans than socialist, leftist Democrats who want to prostitute our country to China. There are more of us. We just have to be heard.
That's right. Scream louder. There's more of us. Scream louder than they are, and we won this thing. We won it hands down.
We won it. Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, Michelle Woodhouse, this has been a fantastic evening with you, and Nancy and I love you to death, and you are truly a fighter, and I know that you're going to be a great chairman for our 11th Congressional District, and I just want to thank you for coming on here tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I hope I can come back.
Hey, you know what? You know what I'm going to do when we have the studio open? We've already planned several different shows because we want to keep the studio going throughout the entire day. So I'm going to have debates, and I would love to see you debate whoever these idiots in the Democrat Party put in there as their 11th congressional district chairman. We'll put you guys head to head, and you'll just tear them up. So that's my challenge to the Democrat Party. We're going to put you up against Michelle Woodhouse and watch them lose. So, well, God bless you, and we thank you, and you have a great rest of your week. Okay.
You too, friend. Blessings and blessings to Nancy, and go get her a cookie, please.
I'm going right now. If you know what,
all right.
She's going to kill me because Krispy Kreme. She wanted a donut. She said, "Don't you come back without a donut." It's already closed, so I'm going to have to figure out something.
Blame it on me.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Yeah. All right. We love you, and we take care.
All right. Love you too, friend. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.